We are back. It's Craig. It's Shawn. It's Revinyl.
I love it.
I'm so ready. Let's do this
I love that
once
intro,
again.
man. Let's keep that.
Yeah, yeah. Let's just record that, and I never have to do it again, and we just stick with that. Short and sweet. It's Craig. It's Shawn. It's Revinyl. Let's go.
Let's
All
go. Let's
right,
do it.
let's do this, man. We have some really cool stuff to talk about today. I'm so excited. A couple of different topics that we have. One is, and we'll get into this in a minute, but we're going to talk about music and movies and music in films, soundtracks, music documentaries, stuff that I love this stuff. And there's so many out right now. And that's what got me thinking about it the other day when I asked you, hey, can we do this? What do you think? Because I saw the Jeff Buckley documentary. So we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Cool.
Talk about some other, there's a couple of music movies coming out that are really, really interesting for me.
Nice.
We're going to talk about that. But first, Craig, we got to talk about this new podcast that we teased on the last episode, right? We brought it up, but we didn't have a name. We had an idea of what we were going to do. We had no idea if it was going to work, but we went ahead because we're bold and courageous, and we threw it out there for the masses across the globe to know Shawn and Craig have this other podcast. So we talked about it. The idea of the podcast, I'll do the really quick version of it. And it's probably, like I said, coming out within the next week, the first episode. But the whole idea around it is the same thing that everyone gets caught up in March with March Madness and brackets and this team versus this team. And you got to pick it all up front and you whittle your way into a national champion. And it's always so much fun. And I don't know why it just occurred to me. We were talking about classic albums, I think, one day and just pitting one versus the other. So we started hashing this thing out about, okay, what if we took the Rolling Stone 500 and what year was it we did? Was it the 2012
I think
version?
the 2012 version. Yeah, I think that's the most.
Yeah.
That's what we consider the classic because that matched up
The
with the early one.
yeah, air quotes, the classic version, because there's older ones, there's newer ones, but the 2012 really is a really good list of 500. And I was doing the math on it and thought, okay, we could do rounds of 16 and every episode start with 16 albums. You have your random computer generator thing that you're the expert on, and two numbers spit out. We look up. So if it's the Beatles Abbey Road at 30, if it's 37 and that's the Beatles Abbey Road, and 125 Joni Mitchell Blue, of course, I'm just making this up. That's the matchup. And then we take that matchup and whoever is assigned to it, you get 4, I get 4 each week. You pick yours, and then I get my matchups and I pick the winner for each of my matchups. And then we got to go down one more level and pick to where I end up with 2 and you end up 2, which is a final 4. But we can't call it that. So we're going to call it, what are we going to call it, Craig?
Oh, I mean, I don't want to steal your thunder, but yeah, Vinyl 4.
Vinyl 4. Get ready, guys. Vinyl 4. Yeah, and thanks, Craig. I mean, but okay, I had the inspiration one day. I was out walking the dog and I had you on my AirPods and we were talking about it, and we had been talking about it for a week.
Yeah.
But we couldn't come up with a name. And it just came out of nowhere, and I thought, hey, what do you think about Vinyl 4? And you started laughing. I'll never forget that. You started laughing, but I couldn't tell if you thought it was awful. You laughed for a good 5 seconds before you went, that's great.
No,
I really didn't know.
It's brilliant. It's yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. It perfectly encapsulates what we're trying to do.
That's right.
Yep.
And we had so much fun with that first episode. That it was one of the
Excellent.
But I will say, and you're going to have to listen to the podcast when it comes out, and we'll continue to remind the Revinyl listeners about it to jump over and check out Vinyl 4. But the first round of matchups right out of the gate, it was crazy. In fact, I'm not going to give away anything because you're going to have to listen to it to see who we arrived at as the Vinyl 4. But my random matchups from the Rolling Stone 500 for round 1 were the Drifters' Golden Hits versus B-52's self-titled debut, Bob Dylan Blood on the Tracks versus The Who Quadrophenia, Springsteen Tunnel of Love versus Talking Heads Remain in Light, and Hendrix Electric Ladyland versus Etta James At Last. And then you had, for your matchups, you had Joni Mitchell Court and Spark versus Moby Grape, self-titled. You had Hendrix Are You Experienced versus Cheap Trick at Budokan. Then you had Neil Diamond Collection versus The Cure Disintegration. And then Elvis Presley's self-titled versus the Smiths self-titled.
Yeah.
And from there, you had to pick your winners of your 4. I had to pick my winners of my 4. Then I had to whittle those 4 of mine down to 2. You had to whittle your 4 down to 2. And that was our Vinyl 4, round 1. And we're going to do this. We did the math. We'll end up doing 32 rounds of this to get to 32 vinyl 4s. And then we're going to keep working it down to a very final Vinyl 4. We're never going to pick a true winner. That'll be the last episode when we get to the Vinyl 4. And it's going to be so much fun. It's going to have all the elements of sports, reality TV, Survivor, right? It's like every week. And I have agonized over one of my picks. That's all I'm going to say. One of my Vinyl 4s, I have agonized. And every day I think about it and think I probably should have picked the other album, but there's no turning back. There's no turning back.
He's like, Craig, I think I have buyer's remorse.
Yeah. I have voter's remorse, and probably not the first time that's happened in this world, but I have voter's remorse. And oh my gosh, I if there was a way I could ever claw back that one, it would be tempting. But that's what's so much fun about it, is you're going to have those weeks too where you're going to have voter's remorse on 2 albums, and you're going to think back on it later and go, I should have gone with the other one. But that's part of the fun. So check it out. Vinyl 4. You can hit me up an email and complain about how you can't believe I chose what I chose over what I didn't choose. I'm living with it at this point. So that's that.
Nice.
All right, Craig. Yeah, so excited. So we'll be recording episodes every week, and we'll go through each round. And I thought it really turned out well. You listened back to it. I just heard it as we did it that day. You actually listened back to it and called me and said, hey, that turned out really good.
It's excellent. It's a really quick flow. So brace yourself. It's a blitzkrieg, and it's a lot. You know, you remember somebody messaged us and said, "Man, I'm diving for a piece of paper and a pen." Right? This is going to be one of those things too, where I think a lot of people will be surprised at what's in that top 500. For one, they're not going to be familiar with everything. For one, you know, how many people are familiar with that Moby Grape album? Probably not a lot of people. So it's fun. And as you said, it's once you have that battle between 2 albums and you omit one of those albums, that album's not coming back. It's not coming back into the fold. So but it was fun because I felt like it was such a surprise to us as we're recording it. And you can sense that surprise and our enthusiasm at not knowing what was coming next. It's really cool.
That's the part that I loved, was I had when I got, I don't know, I'll just use for example here, there was one in particular that Bruce Springsteen, Tunnel of Love versus Talking Heads Remain in Light, because I love both of those albums, and I would have loved to take him one of those into the next round, but I couldn't.
Right.
And you had a similar thing. Now we do have one recall in this. You're going to have to go listen to the podcast. We get to take one back, and you'll have to just wait and see how that all pans out. But when Craig votes off his 4, he does have one opportunity to trade one of mine or one of his, what we'll call cast-offs, to pull into his 4. But it is a lot of fun. And the great thing is too, there's a few things you won't know, but most of them you will be familiar with, or you at least heard of. And it's fun to make your brain think through that in a quick fashion to go, well, what am I going to pick? I can't sit here and spend 5 minutes deliberating over Tunnel of Love versus Remain in Light. Nobody want to listen to that. So
I guarantee you, if Kevin was in this, he would do that.
He would say, hold on. I got to go get a beer. I need another beer before we choose this one.
Right.
Oh, man. Love you, Kev. All right. We're going to jump in. you're going to quiz me. Speaking of quizzing, you got something for me. I've got a this or that for you, and then we're gonna talk about music and movies.
Great. Very cool. Well, I've got a little surprise for you. I'm going to give you the same exact either or that I did for Kevin because
All right.
I'm curious to see what yours. And this is totally a hodgepodge. Normally, I have a theme to mine. It'll be
Okay.
all 70s and from 70 down to 79, whatever. This, I literally went into Apple Music and, you just spin the wheel and wherever it lands. And so, oh, we're in the 90s. Oh, we're in the 70s. Oh, we're in the 2000s. So it's all over the place. It's a little random. And I think there's one album in here you're going to be like, who the heck is that? But all the other ones. So, and
I
that
love
one
it.
album was because of Kevin. So that's the
There you go.
outlier. But hey, let's give it a shot. All right, you ready?
Let's go.
All
Yeah.
right. So, Sean, Steely Dan, Countdown to Ecstasy, or Robin Trower, Twice Removed from Yesterday.
I love Robin Trower, but it's tough to ever vote against Steely Dan. I'm going Countdown to Ecstasy.
All right. See, I'm already getting a change here from Kevin. This is awesome. All
Yeah.
right. Steely Dan's Countdown to Ecstasy, or ZZ Top, Trace Hombres.
I love it, but I still got to go Steely Dan.
All right. Love it. Steely Dan, Countdown to Ecstasy, or Motorhead, Bomber.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not as familiar with Bomber. Ace of Spades was my big album from Motorhead, and I love that album. But I don't know. We may be going wire to wire here with Steely Dan. I'm a big Steely. It's going to take something really, really good for
All
me.
right. So there's as I look at it, there's several here you might not know. All right. Steely Dan, Countdown to Ecstasy, or Midnight Oil, Blue Sky Mining.
Oh man, I'm still going Steely Dan, but dang, I love Midnight Oil.
Okay.
Man, yeah,
Love it.
Steely Dan.
Steely Dan, Countdown to Ecstasy, or Tora Tora, Surprise Attack.
Yeah, I'm not even sure I've ever listened to Tora Tora, honestly. I know you and Kev are
Such a great album, but yeah.
is it a good album? Okay,
It,
so we need
it's
to
it's
let our
excellent hard rock, heavy metal for the late 80s. Yeah, for sure. It's
okay.
excellent.
Speaking of which, really fast, going off script here, but I just listened to Giant the other day.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good record. That
Re-
their debut record,
yep.
good, solid, kind of I mean, maybe a little White Snake, but not maybe as polished, maybe a little grittier. But
Yeah.
I had that one song, "See You in My Dreams," which I think was their radio hit off of that.
That was their single, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good album. I was impressed. I'm gonna listen to it again in the next couple of days, but I'd never listened to Giant before other than that song.
Overlooked album. That's a good album.
Yeah. All
All
right,
right.
back to you. Okay, we're still Steely Dan.
Steely Dan. All right. This one, maybe I can't tell. Steely Dan, Countdown to Ecstasy, or Soundgarden, Super Unknown.
Oh, man. Oh my gosh. Oh. I'm gonna switch it up. I am gonna go Soundgarden Super Unknown. It's a great record, and for that time period was just perfect.
Yep. Like it. All right. I don't know if you're going to know the next two. So let's see. Soundgarden, Super Unknown, or Black Country Communion, the self-titled debut album.
I don't know anything about I know the name, but I don't know anything about them. They sound like they would be a Black Crowes type of sound, like a gritty
So
rock type thing, but
to give you a hint, you need to listen to this. It's a supergroup. Lead singer is Glenn Hughes,
oh, yes.
and the guitarist is Joe Bonamassa.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's and man, Glenn Hughes, oh, I love him. His voice is awesome. Is his
We've
voice
been
still
singing
holding
his
up well?
praises. Oh my god, we've been singing Glenn Hughes' praises. One of the most underrated. No, not underrated because everybody that knows him loves him. Most overlooked vocalist in rock and roll.
Yeah, obscure or unknown maybe. Because if I asked my buddies we were hanging out at a bar and I said, "What do you think about Glenn Hughes?" They would be like, "What team does he play? Is he a baseball player? Football? What position does he play? I don't
Is
think
is
the
he the
average
guy from
music fan would not
House?
know. I but if you know him, you know him, and
Absolutely.
you yeah,
All right,
right.
so
I'm gonna go so Soundgarden.
Soundgarden. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and say you're gonna skip this next one because you won't know it, but I'll do it anyway. Soundgarden, Super Unknown, or Marjorie Fair's Self Help Serenade.
Yeah, is that Marjorie Fair, is that folk? Is that folk rock?
Marjorie
What is
Fair was part of
prog?
the early aughts indie rock.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah, I
kind
don't know
of
them at all.
kind of folkish. That is an album that Kevin and I both discovered when I had the store. He was working with me, and we fell in love with this album. I implore you to go listen to that. You would love it. It's excellent.
Okay.
It's
What's the name
it's
of it again?
Marjorie Fair, and it's their first album. It's called Self Help Serenade. It's a great
Okay.
album, and he actually
Man,
chose it. He chose that album. It's that
wow.
sentimentally, yeah. It's a good time. It just represented a good time, and because when you go back and listen to it, it's the only one that's available on Apple Music right now. And he goes, every time I listen to it, I go, "What a great album!" So
Okay. I gotta check it out.
two more: Soundgarden, Super Unknown, or Beastie Boys, Ill Communication.
I'm still going Soundgarden, Super Unknown.
Okay, love it. And final pick. This is a curveball. Brace yourself. Soundgarden, Super Unknown, or Katie Lang's Shadowland.
Oh, I'm not a huge Katie Lang fan, and maybe it's because I just haven't listened to her enough. So that's an easy pick for me is Soundgarden. But what are your thoughts on Katie Lang?
Oh, that album is phenomenal. You would love it.
Really?
I told Kevin it's funny because as I was saying it, he came in right and we synchronized. I said, she to me is like the female version of Lyle Lovett in the country world.
Yeah.
She's country, but she's not country. She's so much more than
Right.
country. Phenomenal. And Shadowland is a flawless album. It is truly great. But
Wow.
for me, my two favorite picks would probably be Beastie Boys, Ill Communication, and then Marjorie Fair. But I get it. All these albums to me are great. So good job. Good
Well,
job.
yeah, thank you. That was there were some good challenges there. In the spirit of what we do, which is just all over the place at times, mentioning Katie Lang, and it's totally different. But I know you love this artist. I immediately thought of one of my favorite records of the past 30 years is probably Interiors by Roseanne Cash.
Oh,
That is such an underrated record.
love
It's so
her.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, I know how much you love her. You've said before one of the best shows you've ever seen live.
Yep.
That album, I used to listen to Interiors all the time. If anyone wants an emotional song cycle, because I think it was when she was going through her divorce with Rodney Crowell, and
Hmm.
so the songs are just so personal and just beautiful,
You want
absolutely
to talk
beautiful work.
about? It's so funny you mentioned Rodney Crowell. We're tangenting here, but in a good way. Rodney Crowell's last three albums. He just released an album this year called
Yeah.
American Airline, American Highway. I want to say it's a. Anyway, fantastic album. He had an album called Texas. The last three Rodney Crowell albums are the best music he's put out. And I would
Wow.
say the same thing about I like Interiors, but if you haven't heard The River and the Thread or She Remembers Everything from Roseanne Cash, her newer stuff, I'm telling you, she is just next level. And she just keeps putting out, she's to me one of the most quintessential singer songwriters.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Amazing. I love her. All right. Now we're gonna do either or you say either or. I say sometimes this or that. Here we go. I'm taking no mercy on you today.
All
These are gonna
right.
be tough. Jimmy Cliff or Bob Marley?
For me personally, I'm going to go Jimmy Cliff because I listen
Yeah.
to him more often. But if I'm being honest, Bob Marley. So I'm going to go Bob Marley.
Okay.
I
It's
just
hard to choose against Bob Marley.
yeah, just gonna be. I gotta be honest. Yep.
All right. I love it. Hoodoo Gurus or Go Betweens? Australian Connection.
Oh, I know this is gonna break your heart, but go-betweens all day.
That's a tough one though for
I
me
I
too, but
I do
yeah,
love the Hoodoo Gurus, but go-betweens are special.
yeah. All right. Cat Stevens or Tim Buckley,
Tim
since we're gonna be
Buckley.
talking about
I can't
all right.
stand Cat Stevens. Sorry.
I'm with you. I cannot we've talked about it before. I've tried Teaser and the Fire Cat and a couple I can't get into them. 'em. I've tried.
I
Yeah, I'm
get
with
the
you.
appeal, I get the something about him just grates on my nerves, I just can't do it, and I'm not a huge Tim Buckley fan, I love Jeff, but I'm not a huge Tim Buckley fan, but bar none better than Cat, yep.
All right. Along the lines of Cat, it made me think of this one. Bob Seger's Catmandu or Ted Nugent's Cat Scratch Fever?
Oh, Catmandu, Bob Seger.
Ooh.
Yes,
2 of the Motor City's finest,
yes.
but you're going Bob Seger,
I
okay.
love me some Seger.
What would Kevin say? That sounds funny. What would Kevin do? Kevin would say Cat Scratch Fever, wouldn't he?
I don't know, man, he loves him some I mean, that's his neck of the woods too, so he loves
Yeah,
him some Bob Seger. That would be a tough pick for him. That's where
yeah.
go grab a beer and wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, you know what's gonna happen because Kevin is one of our most loyal listeners. He texts us after every episode, which I love that so much. I mean, I really do. I love that he texts us after every episode and brings in great commentary. So he's gonna hear this. So Kevin, text us and tell us, is it Catmandu or Cat Scratch Fever?
Yeah.
Um, all right. Nick Cave or Leonard Cohen?
Oh, Leonard Cohen, for sure. I'm really starting to get into some Leonard Cohen, man, by the way.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Steve Earle or Towns Van Zant?
Oh,
Because you've been listening to some Towns lately. I have too.
yeah,
So good.
but Steve Earle's one of those guys that, I remember I just go back to the COVID days and you having us explore that album, and I've been diving
Oh,
into
man.
him too. I gotta go Towns just because he's more my style, but props to Steve Earle, he rules.
Oh my gosh. That Ghost of West Virginia. I love a lot of the mid-career Steve Earle records.
Yep.
Love them so much. But I've been listening to a lot of Towns Van Zandt. I bought from the same sale you did
Yeah,
on what is it? Fat Possum
Fat
Records.
Possum. Yep.
I mean, I bought the rest of the Towns albums that I didn't own. Guy was an unbelievable songwriter. Anyone out there, if you're not familiar with Towns Van Zandt and
Yeah.
you like, because I don't even know what you call it, if you like country or folk or just storytelling. He's
I think
just a great artist.
He's the perfect to me, he's one of the first Americana artists, and he was a fantastic storyteller. Yes.
You nailed it. I couldn't have. I'll just move on because that says it all right there. Okay, Pixies or Replacements.
Love Pixies, but replacements all day.
All right, CD or cassette.
Ooh, CD, but how fun I mean, come on, how nostalgic are we for cassettes? Cassettes were pretty awesome.
Yeah, I've listened to some cassettes recently because I have my tape deck hooked up to my stereo, and so I
They're
just
making
recently
a
thought,
comeback.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've heard from people in the record business that this maybe for other people that don't know, because vinyl got so expensive, younger generation started buying cassettes because they were much more affordable. You could go find a used cassette for $3 at a record store
Yep.
and it's still nostalgic, but it also, if it's been properly cared for through the years, it's still a really good sound that you can get off of a cassette if
It's
it's been
supposed to be
properly cared
better
for.
than CDs. I will say
Yeah.
CDs are making a huge like Yellow Racket here locally. Then when they do their new releases, they put out they're bringing in as many CDs as they are vinyl now. It's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It
for
all
us
just keeps going around.
but for us growing up, you remember like the fallback once we got into CDs was, well, if they don't have it on CD, I'll buy
Yep.
it on
That
cassette. Right.
that's right. It was plan B every time I did it.
Yep.
I went into stores sometimes on release day, and I had to have it that day.
Yep.
If they didn't have it on CD, I was just gonna buy the cassette. I
Yeah.
did it a few times.
That's awesome.
2 more.
Okay.
I love these, but I think I know what you're gonna say for both of them. Fish or Widespread Panic?
I'm gonna go widespread.
Hell yeah.
Widespread.
Agreed.
Yes, all day.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. All right, last one. This is a tough one. Faces or Black Crows?
Oh man. Damn it. Only because I say that only because faces were the roots to Black Crows, right?
Yeah.
But man, for me, Black Crows, I mean, from Shaker Moneymaker, Southern Harmony, and Amorca, those 3 albums alone, I don't know if the Faces have that. I mean, I love Ooh La La. I love A Wink Is As Good As a Nod. I love those albums, but those Black Crows albums for me were, like, changed my music listening habits. So, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
Crows.
Yeah. Yeah. Black Crows, that was an important time too, because at that particular moment, there were no bands with that sound that was a little bit Southern
Yep.
and rock. It was because Skinner and all of those Southern rock bands that died out 10, 15 years earlier. No one was, it wasn't cool to listen to Southern, I'm doing air quotes again, Southern rock.
Right.
And not that the Black Crowes were completely a Southern rock band, but you could feel it. There was that gospel thing in there and the blues thing. They definitely brought it back together. And that's what I guess was so important about them is no one else was doing that. They kind of brought it back, that sound. And maybe even were sort of one of the bands that allowed people to start to ease into even jam bands, honestly. They weren't necessarily a jam band, but they had that something about them that easily translates to a Widespread Panic or some Mo or some of these other bands.
I just remember, like, when Southern Harmony came out, I was so into Shake Your Moneymaker that I'm like, am I really gonna like this? I don't know. I don't know. And then I heard Remedy, the single, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I listened to that album and I go, how did they get better? And how did they get more diverse? Like, I
Yeah.
literally upon the first listen, it's to me, it's like the difference between Beastie Boys, Ill Communication, License to Ill, and then Paul's Boutique. I know License
Mhm.
to Ill has a ton of hits on it, and so does Shake Your Moneymaker. But when I heard Paul's Boutique and when I heard Southern Harmony, I thought, okay, this band, they're different. Like their
Yeah.
evolution. And then I kind of wrote Amorica off. I probably didn't listen to Amorica for the first year because I thought, for one, the album cover was just dumb. I just
Just too almost, yeah, too sensational or something, trying to get attention and
And my
yeah.
cousin convinced me. He goes, I remember we were literally driving to the pool. He used to be a lifeguard. We were driving to the pool where he was a lifeguard to, and he was playing that album. And I go, what is this? What Black Crowes album? He goes, it's Amorica. It's been out for like a year, dude. You haven't listened to it? And I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like they did it again. They somehow did it like Wiser Time. Give me a break. Um, that band to me is so important, and I don't know how much people really, I don't know how highly regarded they are now. They should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see, I wish they would have had their moment like Oasis. The difference is Oasis, because of their Britishness,
Yeah.
there's something that and there's just something about them and them coming back. Black Crows haven't had that moment. I'll tell you, you know the story, I think, but I'll just mention it for the listeners. My Black Crows story. I was a student at the University of Georgia in Athens. This was, well, whatever, 92. And there was a band playing at the 40 Watt that night, the very famous 40 Watt, which holds, I think, 500 people. There was
Yep.
a band playing that night called the Roach Clips. So funny. And no one knew who they were because the 40 Watt had a band every night. And sometimes it'd be a great band that you were familiar with, but the next night it might be some band you never heard of. Could have been from Boston or California or wherever. So no one really thought much of it. Well, word leaked out about 4 hours before the show that the Roach Clips were actually the Black Crows, and they wanted to do a show in a small setting in a club and try out the material the week before Southern Harmony came out, and they were getting ready to go out on tour.
Wow.
And I got lucky. A friend of a friend, I don't even remember the guy's name, had an extra ticket. I don't know how he got it. I don't know how he knew. We went. It was one of the most amazing. First of all, my ears rang for 3 days. It was, I mean, Black Crowes setting up inside the 40 watt and playing, and Chris Robinson is one of the at least in his prime, one of the best frontmen I have ever seen. He had it
Amazing.
all. He had the magic. I mean, his voice. He prowled the stage like he was Mick
Mick
Jagger, and
Jagger.
that was
That
when he
that
was
was always a
22.
comparison, wasn't it? It's
Yeah.
funny that you had that because I had that later in '96. I wanna say this is when they released By Your Side, and they did the same thing. They played the
Mm,
40 watt. Somebody got hip because they apparently they had a rotation of, like, 10 different names that they would go through when they would do something like this.
yeah.
Word got out to somebody, that person spread the word, and I just looked at it wasn't my cousin at the time because he lived out there with me at the same time, but it was like a friend. I'm like, no way. It's just not them. There's no way they're playing the 40 watt. I'm like, you guys have fun. Totally. he-
You didn't.
and this
Please
is
tell
yeah,
me.
right. And this is before the days of like, cell phones. It's not like you could take a, snapshot.
Yeah.
But and so they came back, they were just like beaming, and I'm like, whatever. And then next thing you know, I remember going to school the next day and they go, oh my God, did you see the black? I was like, oh man, like that
Oh,
was real.
man.
Oh, come
So they're
on.
not they weren't just messing with me? They
Right.
weren't pranking me? I was hoping they were pranking me.
Those tickets were
Yeah.
like $20 too. It was like
Mm.
dirt cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if I had to pay for the ticket. I mean, dude was just like, "Hey, I've got an extra ticket if you wanna go." But it was so much. The cool thing was too, because on that album, when you listen to it, there's the female gospel singers. I mean, they were
Yep.
true gospel singers.
Yep.
They were on stage that night. I saw them. They lasted like a week on that tour. I still wanna read an article about that. I had heard that they basically said these guys are they were just good gospel singers that came from the church and probably never been exposed to what they saw being on the road with the Black Crowes. They didn't last long. I think they were 1 or 2 weeks into the tour and they were gone.
Yeah.
So I got to see that. It was it was unbelievable. And just so everyone understands
Nice.
too, Athens, Georgia, where the 40 watt is about an hour from Atlanta. Black Crowes were from the Atlanta area, Marietta, Atlanta
Yep.
area. So it was close for them. They probably went to a lot of shows there when they were younger. So it was a logical thing to want to play the 40 watt where REM and others had played. So anyway, those are good stories. Okay, we'll
Nice.
move on. We are going to do, so you prepared your 10 favorite music bios of all time. So the reason we're doing this, I went to see the Jeff Buckley film. You haven't seen it yet, have you?
Have not. No.
You got to see it. And I'm sure it's going to be out streaming. Maybe it already is. It is really good. I had
Are you
slept on Jeff Buckley for a
I
while.
was gonna ask
For
you if you were a fan because 'cause I've been a fan since
yeah.
Grace was released. That album, like,
Yeah.
if you're not familiar, people, Jeff Buckley's Grace is an absolute
Mm.
masterpiece.
I mean, that word, we've laughed about it before it gets thrown around. It's a masterpiece. It just flat out is. Yes, I was into it about a year after it came out. I really got into it because I was thinking, what's all the hype about? And I loved it. But I love it more now. I was listening to it in the days leading up to the going to see the movie at my local art cinema. It's called It's Over. I think it's called It's Over Now, Jeff Buckley.
Yeah,
But so I listened to it a few times before I went, and then I couldn't stop listening to it after, of course, seeing the movie. That's what always happens. It's such an it's a 5-star album. I mean, it is an absolute 5-star album. The fact that that was his first true record right out of the gate,
unreal.
and then you talk about his his passing was so sad because he they talk about in the documentary, he wasn't on drugs.
Yeah,
You could dismiss it as, oh, a wild 20 something rock star on drugs drowns in the river in Memphis, Tennessee. That wasn't the case. He was out there and it was just he got sucked in.
in the wake.
It was just one, yeah, and just pulled him under and he drowned. And it's so tragic. And I don't know if you knew this, and I don't want to give away too much from the documentary, but when they're talking, it was cool, by the way, because Ben Harper, huge fan. He was
Yeah,
talk he had some appearances in it where he's talking Amy Mann. he'd also, not surprising, he became friends with Chris Cornell. I mean, can you imagine those 2 in a room
Wow.
together talking and talking
Seriously.
about vocal styles and whatever?
Yep.
But one of the guys in Buckley's band estimates that they were flying in that day to start recording the second album,
Yeah.
and the material was really solid. They were flying in that day. He estimates that as the plane was touching down, Jeff Buckley drowned at almost the same time that
Wow.
they were touching down. So they get to his house and he's not there. And they're thinking, where is he? Maybe no one had cell phones then, really.
Right.
And then they find out he's dead. I mean, it's so tragic. It's tragic. His dad passed away. He didn't really get to know his dad, Tim Buckley, very well.
Mhm.
And it's the story is incredible. I encourage anyone who enjoys music at all should check it out. But I would say for anyone that doesn't know much about Jeff Buckley, go listen to Grace 3 or 4 times. You gotta listen to it at least once. You get because it's different. That
Yeah.
first time, his vocal style is really different, but
Unreal. Yeah.
it's like, I always when I first listened to it, the first thing that came to mind is this is what Led Zeppelin would sound like if they toned it down a little and it was in the '90s. I know that sounds a little crazy, but he was a big Zeppelin fan too.
I love it. Yeah,
But
absolutely it was.
it just had that some of the songs just had that feel to it, but, go listen to that record 3 or 4 times, go see the film, and then you will be listening to that record nonstop after.
Well, I love the fact that you came in fairly late on it, and
Mm.
so and you
Yeah.
still have that passion for it because I remember the first time I listened to it, you know, the song that hooked me the most and still to this day gives me chills is Corpus Christi Carol. That is
Yeah.
just go listen to that. It's amazing. But he is one of those guys where we've talked about cover songs before, and we mentioned Leonard Cohen before, right?
Yep.
His version of Hallelujah is just better. It
It is just better.
it's just better. I hate saying that because it's hard to say it's better than the original. What he does with it is just earth shattering. I saw a live performance of it one time in the studio, so it wasn't live in front of an audience. It's almost like a BBC thing. I literally got a minute into it and started crying. It was that power.
Oh,
It was that power.
oh,
His voice is that power because you're just like, this guy's not on this planet. As he's singing, he's just not. It's like he feels something, a higher power, something, because there's no other way to justify how his voice does what it does.
yeah. He was a one of a kind vocalist and even a songwriter. What he proved on that first record, that's what he did right out of the gate. Imagine where he would imagine if he was still alive today, then the amount of record there that's this thing when people talk about musicians, songwriters talk about, well, the songs are already there. You just got to grab them. They're in the air
Yeah,
floating, right? And that
right.
sort of idea, which is hard to wrap your head around, but I understand. Imagine the songs that are still floating in the air that he had that he was going to grab. And
Oh,
he was because they're never going to exist.
right.
And he would have I mean, it's just you could say the same thing Hendrix or others, but
Yeah.
one album, it's just so tragic. What a great movie. At the end, the treat of it at the end is a live recording that no one's ever heard before.
Oh, nice.
So, when the movie ends, they'll tell you, "Stay in your seat, watch this," and then it goes on for a while, and for me, "Last Goodbye," that song just absolutely and
Unreal.
because of the way things turned out for him, that song gets me every
Yeah,
single
there's
time.
certain songs that's
Love it.
kinda like, there's a couple of songs off of, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot and 9/11. Dude,
Yeah.
don't get me started. Like, literally just sent the first time I heard it, I just sent chills, and when you
Yeah.
discover his life, how tragic it was, how he passed away, yeah, Last Goodbye is still a song. That's an emotional album, but it's not a somber album overall.
No.
There are somber
Mm-mm.
moments for sure. It's just a beautiful album, and I don't listen to it that often, but when I do, man, every time I'm inspired. So I'm looking forward to this doc for sure.
Yeah, the musicianship on that album, the arrangements, I mean, it almost feels like a John Paul Jones, kinda like with Automatic for the People.
Yeah,
It has that sort of feel to it because there's so many things happening and the bass lines. It's just such a such a beautiful record. But anyway, yeah, great documentary.
Nice.
Next up, I'm going to see maybe this week or next, the same little art cinema downtown. Gonna go see Spinal Tap 2.
Nice.
It may suck, I don't know, but I've gotta see it.
Did you
I
see that
love the first.
commercial I sent you for Liquid Death?
No, no, I didn't look at it. Oh, I gotta go check that
Dude,
out.
it's
Yeah. Okay.
hilarious. They
Okay.
they haven't lost. They haven't lost. Christopher Guest. They have not lost a beat. It's
I
it's
c
amazing.
oh, I'm
Um,
so excited, and I could wait till it comes out on streaming, but I kinda wanna see it in the theater because I didn't get to see the original Spinal Tap in the theater. I saw it on HBO or whatever, so I'm gonna go check it out. The last thing I was gonna mention, are you gonna see it? You'll see it at least when it comes out on
yeah, so
streaming,
I
nothing
think what I plan on doing because I don't think Becca, my wife, has seen the original. So I want to
Oh, yeah.
watch the original with her and see if she'll go see the new one with me. Because I think even as a non-music, she will appreciate the humor.
I think so. I thought about my son who's almost 20. He's into music. He's not into Spinal Tap. I don't know, some of the jokes may go over his head because you'd have to have lived through the Uriah Heep and, all these bands that just there's a humor there that's sort of you'd have to understand that part of it, I think, but I thought about him watching that movie with me and then going to see the new movie, but I'm definitely gonna go see it.
Well, so
The
watch that Liquid Death commercial because Liquid Death, this is brilliant. They came up with a custom 11 pack,
Oh, love it.
and
Wow.
everybody from Spinal Tap has signed the box. I so want this
Really?
11 pack.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
I
Okay,
want
I
it
gotta go.
up there on top of my vinyl.
Yeah, I'm not opening it. It's oh, that's so cool. Okay, I gotta go do some research on that. As soon as this podcast is over, I'm gonna listen to Marjorie Fair while I'm checking out this Liquid Death
Nice.
ad. Last thing, and then we'll move to your top 10 bios and my top 10 soundtracks. Last thing is I really am excited about the Springsteen movie that's coming out later this year, Deliver Me from Nowhere, based on the Warren Zanes book.
Yep.
And it's going to have Jeremy Allen White. You know who he is, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've
The
seen previews
bear.
for it. Yep, The Bear.
It is go I and he sings. He's doing all the vocals. I love when these actors immerse themselves like Timothy, is it Timothy Chalamet? Is that how you say it?
Chalamet. Yep.
How he did the Bob Dylan. That was that movie was absolutely amazing. I loved it. I mean people could pick it apart for different things, but I loved the live moments when he was singing.
Yep.
Loved it. And I'm so excited to hear how Jeremy Allen White handles Springsteen.
Awesome.
It's going to
Yeah.
be fun. All right, you want to do your top 10 music bios? I can't wait because I know you're going to have some stuff that I definitely haven't seen.
Okay, so I'm gonna just dispel the myth here. These are not my top 10.
Oh,
These are some of my favorites, and I went with the majority. I literally chat GPT'd documentaries and dug and tried to find at least 7 of mine would not be something you would be able to chat GPT. Let's just say that.
okay.
I wanted it
All
to
right.
be pretty obscure. And I'm gonna go in order of when it was released, and I'll breeze through this real quick. We'll start off first from '88. There's a documentary called "Let's Get Lost" about the life of Chet Baker,
Hmm.
legendary West Coast saxophone player. This is cool jazz. This is not elevator jazz. This is not Kenny G. No knock on Kenny G. This
Hmm.
is just smooth, cool jazz. He was a vocalist. It gives the story of his life, his music, and his unwavering dedication to his lifestyle. And this man was a playboy. He was referred to at one point as the James Dean of jazz. He was gorgeous.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
saw him
Good
when he
looking dude.
died, he looked rough. He was
He
the
lost his teeth, right?
yeah, he had his teeth kicked in from a botched drug deal. He was the poster child for why you don't do drugs. But he didn't care. He was going to do it anyway. He knew he was hooked and he did not care. So props to him. He lived his life the way he wanted to live. Not how we would probably live our life. I wouldn't live my life
Right.
that way. I know you wouldn't either, but uh,
Nope.
remarkable documentary.
Before you go to the next one, so ironic because 2 nights ago, I was driving back, late night from the gym, and I always listen to public radio at night when I'm driving because it's the University of Georgia public station, whatever it is. Boy, I really fumbled through that. But it's the UGA radio station, let's just call it that. But they also have other stuff that's the national things that they pull in, but they do a jazz hour, and it wasn't from the University of Georgia, it's a national jazz hour, and I forget the name of the show, and the song was so amazing, and I didn't know what it was, so I Shazammed it,
Yeah.
and it's Chet Baker, it's called The Half Dozens.
Oh,
Wow,
excellent,
just
excellent song.
incredible. I mean, that's how good it was, though. I'm driving down the road going, "I don't know what this is. Who is I have to know this song because they
Awesome.
just played Kamasi Washington, and then they played Chet Baker.
Oh, I gotta listen to this radio show. That's awesome because I love
Yeah,
Kamasi too. But yeah,
yeah.
Chet was one of my first discoveries in jazz. Chet Baker with Jerry Mulligan was just the Jerry
Oh,
Mulligan.
Jerry,
Oh, seriously, it's just it's
highly
easy. It's a good, easy West Coast cool jazz is a easy introduction to get into bop and hard bop. I'll just say that.
yeah.
So great documentary. I'm gonna follow that up also from 1988. And look, it's cooler to like part one of this series because
Mhm.
punk is cooler than metal, but I don't care. The Decline of the Western Civilization part two, the metal years, is absolutely essential. I don't care if you like metal or not. If you want to see music at its most audacious, then watch this documentary. There is a
Yeah.
scene where there is a musician sitting in a pool on a float. I'm not lying. He probably drinks 2/5 of tequila or vodka or whatever he's drinking. It is it is entertainment and it's brutal at the same time because this guy is just we're talking partying through the I mean beyond most people's capacity. You party like this, you probably don't live. So and these
Wasn't
guys
that
did it
Chris
every weekend.
was that Chris Holmes from Wasp? I'm pretty sure it
It was
was.
Chris Holmes, yeah.
Is he still
It
alive, by the way?
I if he is, I would love
He
to see what condition he's in 'cause, he would have to pull a Keith Richards type thing to where he's just invincible. This man was
he's still
just
alive.
yeah, and the ironic thing is the person that's filming is it him is his mom,
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
and she knows she can't. I I've tried.
Yeah.
This he's gonna do this anyway, so let's hear about it. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It goes into the entire metal scene. I think it's primarily from Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It is just pure entertainment. So, we're gonna skip from 1988 to 2004. We're gonna go into another one of the most audacious bands. I saw this band on this tour, at least one of the 2 bands they feature. The documentary is Dig, and it features 2 different bands. It focuses in on the Brian Jonestown Massacre and the Dandy Warhols. The Dandy Warhols being the more traditional. They're not like they were poppy, kind of poppy alternative indie rock, whatever you want to call it at the time. And then Brian Jonestown Massacre is just that. It's more Brian Jones than anything else, solely dedicated to the garage era of the Rolling Stones. Remarkable, remarkable talent. That's the more entertaining aspect of things. Anton Newcomb, the lead singer of that band, is just literally if you want to see what he's capable of doing and the chaos he can create, just Google them, look at their Wikipedia page, and see how many members have been in that band. Um,
Yeah.
and I saw him. I want to say a year. This was 2004. I saw him in 2005 at the Earl, and it was exactly I don't know if he was playing it up because the documentary had been released and so he's trying to play that character. I don't think so. I think this is truly who he was. He fired the guitar tech on stage. It's a shame too
Wow.
because this band called the Love Tones opened up for him. God, man, what a great set. It was such a great start. And then Brian, it was so bad that my friend Chris that went to the show with me emailed Brian Jonestown, communicated with Anton and said, I want my money back. Seriously, dude, I want my money back. That was bullshit. And he's like, and the guy's response, and this had to have been Anton, because his response was so comically illegible, and it just, you couldn't comprehend it. It's like, this guy's out of his mind. Sorry, Anton. Hopefully you've gotten better. But brilliant songwriter. I will put Bravery, Repetition, and Noise up there. I love that album. Give it to the man. Take it from the man. Excellent album. When they hit, they hit. But that documentary, it's entertainment. You have to go into it knowing it's over the top. So anyway, all right.
I
So,
I have that on my wish list because it's on Criterion Channel, which I
oh,
have a streaming subscription to. It's on my wish list to watch. So
I bet
thanks for
the
reaffirming.
Criterion version will be incredible.
Yeah.
Let's follow that up with 2008. This is near and dear to Kevin and I. Kevin convinced me to go see him. I'd never really heard of the band. I don't really know about them. They were before my time, but I'm so glad he introduced me to it. That's Anvil, the story of Anvil.
Oh,
Um,
unreal. What a great documentary.
this documentary is fantastic because it's real. Like,
Yeah.
you see how dedicated this guy is, specifically the singer. The drummer's dedicated, but I think he's pretty much ready to. So it's the original drummer and the original singer and guitar player from Anvil. And it's sad because
Sad.
it
So sad.
you're watching him do whatever he can to do to survive just so he can get home to dream of when they were huge, because they were huge. Like, when Metal
Yeah.
on Metal was released, I had no idea. Like I said, it was before my time. That was a huge album. You talk to people in
Yeah.
thrash metal, that album is a thrash metal classic. But
Yes.
they lost favor. They just lost. They weren't in the limelight anymore, and that sound wasn't popular anymore, and they just fell out of the limelight. And so this shows the struggle of them coming back, but they did come back, and they're still
They
putting
did.
albums to this day. So there's a bright spot to it. And so we went and saw that movie. Kevin and I went to see it together at an independent theater in East Atlanta. And then we went to see him, and we met him. We
Yeah.
saw him at the Variety Playhouse, and we met both of them, and they could not have been nicer. They could not have been more happy to see us. There wasn't a lot of people there. There wasn't.
Yeah.
Maybe
Sadly. Yeah.
maybe 30, 40 people in the theater, maybe 20, 30 people at the Variety Playhouse to see him.
Yeah.
But they were so happy, but it did make waves better than it did in Atlanta. It was a very successful documentary, and they're still putting out albums, so it's awesome. Love it.
Good for them. Well, 30 people at one of their shows in Atlanta, more than some of the shows in that documentary when they were in Europe. I mean, it was just sad.
Sad.
And well, I know we got to move on, but at one point in time, and I'm a couple years older than you, ahead of you, but I remember Anvil was in the same conversation with Metallica.
Yeah,
They were
that's what
kind of neck and
Kevin was
neck,
saying. Yeah,
and then it went, and Anvil drops off the face of the earth, and Metallica becomes one of the biggest bands of all time. I mean, it, it's crazy, and people really loved them, but they just a lot of bad breaks. So yeah, that's a great one. Thanks for bringing that up.
awesome. Okay, so on to the next one. This is number 5. This is I credit this to Kevin once again. Never heard of this, but he said you have to see this documentary called "Searching for Sugar Man." You familiar
Oh
with it?
yeah, Rodriguez,
Rodriguez,
a
2012.
great.
Rodriguez was had a couple of albums in the 70s. And when you listen to these albums, when you listen to Cold Fact and you listen to um, the other big album, I'm drawing a blank. It may be just called I think it's just called Rodriguez. You are floored to how am I just listening to this right now? Because
Yeah,
it's Bob Dylan, it's Bruce Springsteen, it's
yeah,
but the lyrics on this, talk about a singer-songwriter, and he just completely went into obscurity. Like, and if seriously, go back and listen to these albums. I will put that up there. I'm not saying it's blood on the tracks, but it's not far behind it. It's really not.
Yeah.
This guy was a
Mm.
phenomenal singer-songwriter, and he was writing stuff and he was singing about stuff that was so gritty and so just open. I don't think any other artist could have gotten away with it. It was
Right.
it was so good. So props to Kevin for that. That was thoroughly entertaining. That's one of those documentaries you're not going to know who he is. The majority of the people don't know who he is. It doesn't matter. His
Nope.
life is that entertaining. So
Excellent, excellent documentary.
yeah.
I've seen it, love it. Yeah, it turned me on to him.
All right, so we'll move to 2016. The next one. This one was big for me because I didn't realize the story of session and touring musicians, and this one's called Hired Gun. Um,
Oh, yeah.
Listen, guys, there are so many musicians. I mean, you talked about the Wrecking Crew many times. How many
Yep.
people know who are in the Wrecking Crew? Probably
Right.
nobody knows who they are, and they are legendary. This doesn't go into them because I think now they've got some clout. People are starting that have recognized their talents, but there's
Yeah.
Steve Lukather's in this. There's so many great musicians in this documentary, and there's one in particular that played for Billy Joel, and it really, really makes me mad. I'm a big Billy Joel fan, but he did not do this guy right. He really didn't. So,
Mm.
um, but a lot of these classic albums that you grew up with, many of those albums, whether it's Billy Joel, Elton John, whatever, there's a guitarist, there's a bassist, there's a drummer that's on
Yep.
not all those albums, but a lot of those albums. And that's
Yeah.
what this goes into. It's the person that is on stage. You've probably seen, if you saw Bruce Springsteen, you have seen the same members of the E Street Band. You don't know who the hell they are.
Right.
That's what this is about. These are the people
Yep.
that are the backbone. It's just a phenomenal documentary. That's one I've probably watched that 3 times.
I've gotta see it. I've meant to watch it. I've gotta watch it. Okay, thank you. Hired Guns.
All right, so the next one is probably one of the more obscure. Now, the last two are definitely the most obscure, but this one near and dear to my heart. You know me, I love jazz, just like the Chet Baker. This is probably a little bit more my style. This is more hard bop. It's called "I Called Him Morgan," and this is about Lee
Okay.
Morgan. This is
Yeah.
fascinating. So there was a journalist that had interviewed his widow years ago. Somebody found out about it, found out that he had like this rough tape recording of the interview. And she basically talks about their relationship, his life, his struggles. We talked about like decline of the Western civilization and the drug habits, the partying. Partying for jazz was so much worse because it was heroin, it was
Yeah.
cocaine, it wasn't alcohol, it was
Right.
deep, dark stuff. Heroin was
Yeah.
huge. A lot of these guys were drug addicts. Charlie Parker was a drug addict. Jerry Mulligan was a drug addict. The
Yeah.
list goes on. And Lee Morgan, it was tragic. And so he battled it, but he didn't die of drugs. He died because he cheated on his widow and she shot him and killed him on stage.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
I was not expecting.
she's interviewed in this. It is awesome. It is rough. It is not an easy recording. It's not one of the better of all of these. It's probably the least produced, but it's so
Yeah.
fascinating. It's great. So it's just a great story, and to hear her, it's almost like it transports you back to the '60s, which to me is just
Yeah.
fascinating. So great
I
documentary.
get you.
The next one is the biggest one, hands down the biggest one, but it's so essential. This is from 2020. It's the Beastie Boys story. Dude,
Oh, yeah.
I talk about crying so much, and I am an emotional person, but there was a moment where it's Mike D and Ad Rock on stage talking about how Beastie Boys formed, what it was like, what they went through, the mistakes they made, the challenges that they had, the triumphs that they had, the reflection of just, I mean, their admiration for just everything. and losing a integral part of that band, it's awesome. It's so real, and leave it to Spike Jones to nail it. It's so well done, and it's live, so it's basically like if I could have had tickets to this, I would have killed for this. It was basically like going to Variety Playhouse and boom, and they do it in front of an
Yeah.
audience. I Oh my gosh, it's just it's but
Yeah.
even not being there, you felt like you were there.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. I gotta go back and watch the rest, but it was almost like a play with video presentation in the background.
Yeah,
They weren't acting anything out, but they were standing on stage and they're telling the story, and it is a very cool concept.
yeah.
Very original, of
Yeah,
course,
it's,
because it's
out of
completely
all
original.
these, it's unlike any of the other ones because it's live, but you're hearing their story of things, and you hear about, like, how integral Luscious Jackson was. Like, I always liked them, but I didn't realize, like, the drummer of Luscious Jackson was the original drummer of the Beastie Boys.
Oh,
That's so
yeah.
cool. Alright, so I got 2 more. These are very obscure. These are near and dear to me. But I think they're cool to watch because they're just so different. The first one's called The Jangling Man, the Martin Newell story. Martin Newell was from a band called The Cleaners from Venus, another one called Brotherhood of Lizards. He's done his own solo work. He's still putting out music to this day. He is as pure as it comes. He's just as much into gardening and antique collecting as he is to playing music. He is a remarkable, remarkable human being. He is real. He's a poet. Um, I would love nothing more than go see this man in England. And if he plays, he's probably going to play a church or he's going to play an assembly hall in front of 30, 40 people. I would love nothing more. I adore this guy. I had a friend of mine that came over here and he goes, I was so amazed when I looked at your record collection to see you had every single Cleaners from Venus album. And I go, I just love them. It's 4-track British pop. It's lo-fi
Right
and
up your alley.
yeah, it's lo-fi in the best ways because a good song is a good song, and this guy's just a brilliant songwriter. So I highly recommend that. And then I'll cap things off with also in 2022, Traces of Glory: The Music Journey of Idaho. Jeff Martin from Idaho. It's a slowcore band. It's not for everybody, but I think what you learn about this guy is how dedicated he is as a songwriter and how emotional and how much more complex slowcore is. He's more, and he integrates a lot of rock and a lot of folk and a little bit of everything into it. But he plays the most unique style. He plays a 4-string baritone guitar, tenor guitar, and his tunings are impossible. I've tried. I had a tenor guitar. I tried for 2 months to just play one song and I couldn't do it. I don't know how he does it. It's just this guy, he's just brilliant. And he's such a cool dude. He's an LA guy. He's got this beautiful home and he loves his dogs and he's got this new band that tours around with him and he's just a real guy. But he plays this really obscure music. And I think it's just absolutely beautiful. He's such a unique voice. It's gravelly. But it's beautiful. One of my favorite bands of all time. And when I found out, oh my God, they put out a documentary for him. So, I'd say out of all these, this might not appeal as much as maybe some of the other ones, but give it a shot. So all of these to me are fairly obscure, but I think they're all just very entertaining watches. So
I love it so much. I mean, half of them I've seen, half I have not. I'm going to mention 2 others real quickly, and I'll move on to my 10, and then we'll close out for the show. But one that I saw recently that affected me so much, and it was actually before the announcement came out, probably 3 or 4 weeks before the announcement came out. But Aha, the movie,
yeah,
if you like them at all, I don't love. There's one thing where sometimes they do these cartoon things in it that because they're kind of mimicking I guess the
Take
Take
on Me.
on Me
Yep.
video, but they follow them today. They go back through the history, but they're also talking to them today. And they're a troubled band. They were friends, and then things got fractured over time. but it's an amazing documentary, and
Hmm.
especially getting to hear some of the stuff, the original version of Take on Me and how it evolved over time into what it became by the time you heard it on the radio. It's such a cool documentary. So that one's on my mind because I just saw it recently. But the one that has probably affected me more than any other is called Well, Now You're Here, There's No Way Back. And that's the Frankie Benali Quiet Riot documentary. Have you
Oh,
seen
yeah.
that?
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
That one affected me so much, and here's why. Because before I saw that, I used to kind of joke about these guys, and we still joke about it some. There's sometimes where you just go, "Oh my gosh, hang it up." But you joke about these guys that try to keep it together, and you go, "I'm not going to see XYZ band because it's only the freaking drummer's the only original member left," right? And I've said it 30 times probably for different bands.
Yeah.
But when I saw him, when I saw that documentary, it made me realize he wasn't doing it at that point for fame and fortune. He didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
And Quiet Riot was his band, and it wasn't his fault that Kevin DuBrow passed away. The lead singer, the voice of Quiet Riot, and then what do you do? And so he goes and he tries to find another suitable singer, and at times it's heartbreaking because you can see it. He wants it so badly, and sadly, he passed a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I saw it before he passed away. Watching it now, I think would even break your heart even more because the guy just loved Quiet Riot and didn't know what else to do. And so it gave me a new perspective on some of these bands where one dude's trying to hold it together. I get it now after
I
seeing
saw
that.
that about the same time as I saw Hired Gun. So probably now I didn't see Hired Gun probably until I don't know, 2016 sounds about right. So probably saw it about the same time. I thought it was fascinating, and you're right. It was heartbreaking because the guy was just so passionate. And he's a good
Yeah.
guy. He's a phenomenal player for one, and just such a
Yeah.
good guy. Like everybody that
Yeah.
knew him and played with him or just encountered him just said he was a good soul.
Yeah. You
So,
see it in the documentary. It is, if you're a drummer in a successful band,
yeah.
it's the worst case scenarios when your lead singer dies and you're still in your prime.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
yes, there's a lot of other things that could happen with your family, but in that band, that is the worst scenario. You could break up and go, well, we'll get back together in 3 or 4 years. If your lead singer and the guitar player, I mean, this is almost Spinal Tap-ish or Spinal Tap-esque, but your guitar player, your drummer could die and you could still move on. The lead singer dies. What do you do? That's the voice of the band, and it's really hard. I mean, AC/DC brilliantly. I mean,
They're the
that's just
pinnacle.
one in a million.
Yep.
But that's what he was dealing with. Okay, I'm gonna go through my 10 soundtracks. I'll
Nice.
just run through them pretty quickly here. And I did order these. I will tell you, and I'll be completely honest with the listeners, I didn't spend a lot of time on this because I didn't want to dig too deep. I just wanted to think top of my head, what are the soundtracks? When I think of great soundtracks, what do I love? And I tried to pick ones that were mostly original songs because you and I could do it for a living. If somebody wanted to hire me tomorrow to do a soundtrack, and yes, I am saying I'll do it. For those listening, if you're looking for someone, I will do it. You actually don't even have to pay me that much, but I could do a soundtrack. You could. We could pick phenomenal songs. So to me, that doesn't really count because I feel like there's a lot of people who can do that. But when you can do a soundtrack with original songs, incredible. So here we go.
Yep.
Number 10 for me is the heavy metal soundtrack.
Mm.
Sammy Hagar, Only One Way to Rock. The song that I think of is Don Felder, Heavy Metal. That song is so killer.
Yeah.
I love that song so much. I
Yep.
love that Don Henley, even though he wasn't very nice to Don Felder, a lot of times he sang backing vocals on it. Number 9 for me, and you would think this should be higher, but Singles. And it's only because there's other ones that it just mean more to me, but I
Yeah.
do love the Singles soundtrack. It captured a period of time when you and I were late high school, early college age. Grunge was exploding, and it there are very few soundtracks I can think of that captured a period of time quite like the Singles soundtrack did.
I'll talk about that later.
All right. Number 8, Pretty in Pink. Just what can you say? And I could have probably filled it up with a bunch of John Hughes movies, but Pretty in Pink, phenomenal.
Yep.
Love the movie. I don't even know how many times I've seen the movie now, but I've seen it more
Oh,
than a few times, and I
yeah.
love the soundtrack. I love everything that it's just a perfect movie in terms of capturing the music. It's one of my favorite movie moments of all time that include a song,
Yep.
in terms of, Try a Little Tenderness, one of the greatest
Oh, man.
scenes ever in a
Abs
movie.
absolutely.
In terms of I have 2 all-time my 2 all-time favorite movie. I know you wanted to talk about this because you mentioned this the other day, you didn't
I
tell me
do.
what. I'll wait. So that's number 2 for me is Ducky, John Cryer doing "Try a Little Tenderness" in the record store, but I have one ahead of that. I'll wait till the very end, and because I wanna hear yours, it may be the same thing. Alright, number 7, Empire Records. Daggum, that's such a
Yes.
great
Man, you're on fire.
soundtrack.
Yeah, you're on
Yes.
fire.
I love that soundtrack so
I
much. I mean,
do.
it's got Toad and Gem Blossoms. I mean, it's just there's so
Quicksand.
many great who Oh, yeah, yeah, and then there's a song, and I forget the name of the band, it was an obscure band. I think the song was called Sugar High.
Sugar High, yeah, so that's Coyote Shivers, that's the guy that's the I looked this up. That's the guy
Okay.
that's the rocker that works in the store.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
is it?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
really him,
I
I had no
love
idea.
that
What a
song.
great song. That's a great song.
Yeah, that is so killer. Such a great song. What a great soundtrack. Alright, number 6 for me, and I just rewatched this movie 2 weeks ago, Trainspotting.
Oh,
What an amazing that movie is hard to watch, but you can't stop watching it at the same time.
yeah,
There's some moments in that where you're just sickened. The soundtrack, though, the Blur song alone for me, "Sing," it's
yeah,
my favorite song by Blur. It's such a bizarre song in a way for them,
yep,
totally different.
yep.
It's hypnotic. That's the only way to put it. I could listen to that song
Oh, that's Blur, dude.
over
That's
and
so Blur,
over.
but
So
I gotta
amazing.
get you into some more because I love all Blur. Yeah, that's Blur.
Yeah. Alright, so that's my first group of 5. Now, at number 5, I know how much you love this, and I do equally, Good Will Hunting. The
Mhm.
Elliott Smith introduction for the world, for the most part, for
Yep,
you and I.
yep,
Also, Jeb Loy Nichols, I'd never heard of him, I wouldn't have known him were it not for the Good Will Hunting soundtrack.
yep.
Absolutely amazing soundtrack. Amazing. Okay, number 4 for me. This one is really maybe even too high, but it's the collection of artists on it that you'll never see a movie soundtrack like this again. Never. Fast Times at Ridgemont High
Oh, yeah.
soundtrack, the people they pulled together for that soundtrack, whether it was Jimmy Buffett, Sammy Hagar, um, Jackson Browne. I mean, that movie, as anyone listening knows, that movie is California. It's Cameron Crowe,
Yeah,
did that movie. But all of those artists, that was the stuff that was banging in the early '80s in California, and they just nailed it. I
yeah,
don't not all those songs are even perfect, but, there's that one song on there, "Raised on the Radio," and
yeah,
now I'm forgetting who it was. It's an obscure band. They never had any other albums or songs I know of, but he's washing that's when Judge Reinhold is washing his car and
yeah,
playing that song "Raised on the Radio." I mean, moving in stereo was such an iconic moment that, you
absolutely.
know, everyone always remembers,
Is that
but
got Zeppelin on
I
it?
lo
Does it have Zeppelin?
Yep,
Okay, I
yep,
figured
but they
because
made a
you know
mistake.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
He said, "Listen to side 1 of, Zeppelin 4," and then he's driving the road and they're playing Kashmir, which is on so any music
Physical
head goes, That's not accurate. It's physical graffiti. You guys screwed up." But the fact that they have put Kashmir in that is amazing. The Sammy Hagar's song "Fast Times at Ridgemont High" is so
Yes.
killer,
And
so killer.
That Jackson Browne song is
Oh,
perfect for that moment in that film. I wouldn't have thought
perfect.
about this on my list, but you're right, that's a great soundtrack.
Yeah, and that's I love that. I still listen anytime that's on the radio, yacht rock radio or whatever. I
Yeah.
love that Jackson Browne's. I even like the Jimmy Buffett song called "I Don't Know," Spicoli's theme. It's
Yeah.
just such a kooky, goofy song, but it's perfect. All right,
Buffett,
I
yes.
I'll fly through these. Number 3, I mean, Saturday Night Fever. I can't be honest with myself and have a
Okay.
top 10 soundtrack and not include that. It's not as cool as Trainspotting or Singles, but Saturday Night Fever was loaded with it. It may be the most I think it's the most commercially successful. Well, The Bodyguard would be number 1 because of the
Yeah.
Whitney Houston song, but Saturday Night Fever would have to be number 2, I think, and it's way better than The Bodyguard. The Bodyguard was known for 1 or 2 songs. Saturday Night Fever, every song, and it was all written by the Gibbs. I mean, the
Yeah.
Gibb brothers, that was their album, and
Yeah.
that even for the other artists that sang on it, I think they were singing songs written by the Gibb brothers.
Nice.
It's
Okay.
just it's just incredible. Okay, number 2, again, I gotta be honest. I mean, it's not gonna be the coolest choice, but the Footloose soundtrack,
Oh,
same
nice.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Every single song, almost every song on that album was a hit.
Yeah.
Whether you go Denise Williams, "Let's Hear It for the Boy," or Kenny Loggins, which I still love that song, "I'm Free," Heaven it's
I
called Heaven
Kenny
Helps.
Loggins is so underrated.
Gosh, I love Kenny
He's the
Loggins,
king of
and that's
soundtracks.
one of yeah, he is. Yeah, he did Top Gun, he did Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone. He had a run
Caddyshack.
there where he was just Caddyshack, oh my gosh, that's what brought him real fame and fortune. So, yeah, Footloose for me, amazing soundtrack. And then finally, I mean, you could take a guess if you want. It's also from that same time period from the early '80s. I'll give you a hint. He was a great artist, and we already knew he was a great artist, but we weren't sure how great he was. And then he writes, produces, directs the movie, the soundtrack. He does the whole thing like he did for every album he ever did. That movie was great, although I guess maybe the acting was off a little bit, but it defines our generation, I think, more than any other soundtrack, and
In
that's
the
Purple
80s?
Rain. Yeah,
Oh
Purple Rain.
god, yeah. How did I yeah.
Sorry, I didn't give you a chance to really guess. I
Yeah,
just
no,
had
no,
to jump
no.
in.
That's yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That's a
And
classic.
and the reason I was thinking about it too because before Purple Rain, I knew Little Red Corvette, 1999. I did not know anything about Erotic City or any of those. You know, he had some crazy songs in the early days, or Controversy and Dirty Mind and all this. But I knew him for 1999 and Little Red Corvette, and I knew he was cool. But I almost thought those songs were a little bit, and I'm not taking away from them, but kind of novelty, right? Little Red Corvettes, catchy,
Yep.
1999, you know, we're looking into the future, it's catchy. And then I have MTV on the first time they premiered When Doves Cry, and I just remember just stopping cold in my tracks and going, "Oh
Yeah.
my gosh," because it was different. When Doves Cry was, yes, it was still Prince, but it he had evolved so much since 1999, and
Absolutely.
now once that record came out, I think that's when people started thinking of him as a complete artist and not just a funk
Absolutely.
maestro or something. He was a complete artist. I mean, When Doves Cry, Let's Go Crazy has been played a million times, but it's still an amazing song. I Would Die for You, I heard the other night, and it stopped me in my tracks. I had to listen to it because it's such a beautiful, I mean,
Great song.
one of the I mean, how could you write a greater song? I mean, I Would Die for You. I love that album. So that to me was number 1. I struggled. There were a couple more that I didn't put on my list that I probably could have, but there's my top 10.
All right, so let's first talk about I'm gonna go back to singles, and I think that's
Mhm.
appropriately placed. I would put it lower, and the only reason I put lower is I'm a nostalgia guy. Dude, when
Yeah.
that was released, I went to I've said this, I've probably told this story on this podcast. I know I've said it on schizophrenic music before, but anyway, if I'm repeating myself, all apologies. But this moment was just so pinnacle. I was so tired of being in this town, in the small little podunk town of Gainesville, Georgia, and cruising and just not going out and seeing anything. And I just wanted to go somewhere. And I remember I said, we're going to go to the beach. And I was with my buddy Chris Ryder and Chris Allen. And they're like, sweet, let's do it. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Get in the car. And they're like, now? And I go, yes, right now. I've never been that spontaneous. That I literally, that's
It was
probably the
very
most,
impulsive.
yeah, that's the most spontaneous, most impulsive I've ever been. And they go, okay, cool, let's just do it. And so we go back over to we go to Chris's place, we grab some clothes. I think Chris borrows from Chris. We go to my house, we grab a couple things. I said, we're just staying a night. And we literally drove at like 9 o'clock. It was a 5.5 hour drive. It wasn't close. Um, the entire way there and the entire way back, all we listened to is singles. Like
Wow.
that album was just. I think we deviated because at that point it was grunge. So we would probably listen to Pearl Jam. We would probably, maybe Nirvana. All of us were big Pearl Jam fans. So and Soundgarden. And so,
Yeah.
but that we play that because the diversity of it, it just even when you hit repeat, it's just like, oh, cool. You're changing pace so much. But my favorite songs on there, like probably the best song on there that gets overlooked is Seasons from Chris Cornell. That
Mm,
song is just earth-shatteringly good, and that's when you realize this is the same guy that put out Bad Motorfinger? What? Like, this
right.
is the same guy that
Yeah.
did Louder Than Love? What?
Yeah.
This guy has
This guy's going places. We
wow!
better pay attention to this
Like,
guy.
I know he can hit these high notes, but wow, his voice is beautiful. I remember just being floored and then hearing Breath from Pearl Jam and then Chloe, from Mother Love Bone, which I loved Mother Love Bone, Paul Westerberg.
Oh,
That
dyslexic heart.
oh my gosh, that
Oh,
whole
oh,
soundtrack was just like yeah, and Waiting for Somebody. Westerberg got 2 songs, and then
yeah,
The choice of Jimi Hendrix, Waterfall. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
I
Which
still I get chills because I literally flash back to us just experiencing this new this new feeling, this new environment, and we're experiencing everything, we're experiencing it with a soundtrack. So I remember hearing Seasons as we pull in to grab something to eat downtown, and there's all this moss covered trees. And I just remember thinking, man, life is good. Like this
yeah.
is good. Like this song is so good, but this moment makes it that much better. So anyway, that's my diversion into
I love that. That's such a great story, and I could, as you were telling it, I could see you guys in the car singing along, and it makes me think, and this is gonna segue actually beautifully, and I did not plan this, of course, but as you were talking about that, I was thinking about the fact you're talking so passionately about Singles soundtrack. I was talking so passionately about Fast Times at Ridgemont High soundtrack. What do
yeah.
those 2 have in common? They have one person in common for both soundtracks, both movies,
Oh, Cameron?
Cameron Crowe,
He's
which
amazing.
now leads me to my favorite movie moment of all time and music movie moment of all
Oh,
time.
go for it.
You know what it is?
I
If
don't, I'm
I'm
dying to
if
know.
I'm talking if I'm talking Cameron Crowe, and it's not from either of those movies, it's the Tiny Dancer scene in Almost
Oh, that is
Famous. I
great.
mean, oh, I mean, it makes me emotional every single time I see that scene. It I think it makes me emotional even just talking about it. It's because th eh Cameron Crowe is just a genius, and
He
I think
he is.
that's why I love his movies so much is because even in Jerry Maguire, he has that scene, was it, Free Fallin' when Tom Cruise is driving down
Oh
the
my
road,
gosh,
and
yeah.
he captures that moment of pure bliss, at that moment when
Freedom.
when Jerry was so excited, yeah, the windows down, freedom, and that song, and he's singing along to it, and you wanna get up in the middle of the movie theater and sing it with him, but, um, but in Almost Famous, he captured a moment because they were at their lowest point,
Yeah,
but what Cameron Crowe realizes and understands is that music can always bring you back together,
yeah,
and that's what that scene is all about. I mean, you can say it's a great sing-along scene or it had some funny moments, but that scene was put there to display the fact that a great song
abs
that everyone knows brings everyone back together, and I love
absolutely.
that. So that's my
Um,
favorite movie moment.
so, alright. This is it's pretty crazy. Alright, and there's 2 to me quintessential producers, directors, and it's Cameron Crowe, and you mentioned John Hughes. So my
Mm,
favorite moment, and this may surprise you, and it made me emotional. It just made me feel something at the time when I didn't tear up, but I was just like, I didn't expect to feel this way for such a comedic film. But when Cameron Fry is in the um, art exhibit in the
mhm.
Chicago, and the orchestral version of "Please, Please Let Me Get What I Want" is playing in the
Oh,
background,
yeah.
I literally
Yeah.
freeze. I get chills every time because and then it zones in on that photograph of the mom and the child, and at that way,
Yeah.
it took me a while to get it, but I remember watching it the first time and not really comprehending it, just thinking, "Well, that was a nice moment." And then, like, the 4th or 5th view, at that point, I'm like, "Oh, man, that's really tough to watch because
Yeah.
he doesn't have the best family life, right? His family is his parents are so unemotional, and,
Yeah.
for such a comedic movie and such a just brilliantly comedic movie, to have that heartfelt moment and that song, and not only
Mm.
just the version, because I love that just the original Smiths version of it, but to hear the orchestral version is perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
I've I've never looked at it that way. I gotta go back and watch it because 'cause I've never looked at it that way other than I didn't tie it together as well as you just said, so now I need to go watch it. We got a lot of homework to do, and, our
Yeah.
listeners after tonight and I know this episode's longer than we ever intended it would be probably,
I'm gonna
but
go down and say this is my favorite episode, period.
yeah. Yeah, I
It is.
agree. We've had so much good talk and sharing moments and it's like a lot of these episodes and it's why I'll keep doing this podcast forever if I can because we just get on and we talk and we don't plan this, we don't script it, and
Right.
it's just like the conversations you and I would have if we weren't recording it. It's the same conversation we would have, and we'd be on the phone going, "Oh, wow, we've been on the phone for an hour and a half. How'd that happen?" Or if Kev was with us or we were at a bar with a friend, this is a conversation we have. We're not scripting it. The only thing we do is say, "Okay, all right, we're gonna talk about movies." I had no idea where you were gonna go with yours. You had no idea where I was going, so that makes
What's
it
funny
the
because
more beautiful.
we say, "Well, we're gonna be quick." We can't. We
No,
can't.
not when it comes to music, and then you add movies into it, forget it.
I have to tell you
It's
one
over.
thing, you will appreciate this, and this it goes into the mind of somebody that's musically obsessed like us. This is the funniest conversation. Rebecca and I are eating dinner, and, I'm cleaning things up, and as I'm cleaning things, I realized that I grab her plate quicker that she wasn't done. I was trying to grab her plate
Oh,
to go inside because I like to clean, I just like to make sure,
yeah.
if I cook, I'll clean. If she cooks, I'll clean. I just feel like that I should do it. And so I grab it and I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, babe. I didn't mean to rush you." And that's like, Russia, Rocket to Russia. It's a good album. Ramones, Rocket Russia. But I'm not feeling that right now. What am I feeling? Well, what's another? Oh, it used to be the USSR. I swear to God, for 3 days, I was humming Back in the USSR. I'm not lying. Just from that one moment.
It's a progression of thoughts. It's like one thing leads to the next thought and the next one. Happens to me all the time, and it's usually music related somehow, and then I
Yep.
can't get the song out of my head, and I'll
Right.
walk around for days humming something in my head. Happens. I love that. Just from that one moment. Russia. That's awesome. Yeah, I get it, dude, it happens to me, so I know exactly what you're talking about. All right, all right, so we'll wrap up here. I agree. This was as good, if not better than any episode we've done. It's my favorite as far as the conversation we had. I'm so excited about Vinyl 4.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't wait. I want to, keep doing these two in parallel because I don't want to stop doing this either, just because I think Vinyl 4 is going to appeal to a lot of people
Yep.
and a lot of people that may not even like Revinyl. Maybe Revinyl is too deep for them. Vinyl 4 is going to be a level higher because we're talking about a lot of albums that everyone knows. And it's
Mhm.
also going to appeal to people that enjoy sports and reality TV and stuff. So I'm super excited about that. Can't wait to release that first episode like we talked about earlier. But yeah,
Yep.
this is as good as it gets tonight. That's why we got to keep doing this one too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad we did it. This is a blast, man.
Yeah, thanks for being here listening, and thanks for hanging through the whole episode because you made it this far. Unless you fast forwarded, you listened to the entire episode. So we appreciate you for that.
Absolutely.
All right, Craig, talk
Yeah,
to you
man.
soon. Thanks, everybody.